Top tips for social media in estate and letting agency. Talk to me, Neil.
Start. Start doing it. I know that sounds really, really simple, but so many people go, oh, I must have, I know I need a Facebook page, but, or I've got a Facebook page, but we don't really use it. Or I know I need an Instagram account, or, oh, what is Instagram? It's
Okay.
like, start, right?
Okay.
And this is the big thing, think about who are you posting content for? What do they want to see?
Let me guess. What most estate agents do, because obviously everyone's doing this, so it must be the right thing to do. I'm going to tell you how wonderful my estate agency is, how big my market share is, and I'm going to show you all my listings.
Absolutely. And when I show you my listings, I'm going to show you the front of every house. Because when you live somewhere, that you spend all your time out the front looking at it, right?
Okay. And I'm going to tell you how big my market share is and how wonderful I am.
Absolutely, because I really care about you, Mr. Agent.
But people don't care about that.
They can give stuff, no.
Why do estate agents, when they do social media, just talk about themselves and what?
Because I think we've had a culture for a long time that says that's what marketing is.
What, telling people about us? No one gives a flying F about us.
I know, but you think about the whole, you've got to have a corporate brochure, and we had this whole thing probably from the 80s, early 90s, that said, you've got to tell people stuff about you. You've got, right? Now what you've also got is a whole bunch of people talking about storytelling and the importance of storytelling and the importance of telling your story. But what a lot of people fail to insert into that is you've got to tell your story from the point of view of how is it interesting to the people who are consuming it.
Exactly. There's no point in telling a story if no one's going to read it.
Well, let's look at some of the big not documentaries, like dramas that have come out recently based on real lives. So, Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, some of these kind of films, right? They're really good films, really interesting stories. Could you have taken, Elton John's life or Freddie Mercury's life, told that story in a completely different way that would probably be really interesting for Elton and maybe his immediate family, but the rest of us couldn't give a damn about?
Yeah, you could have done.
Because you could leave out all the stuff that we know about and that we're interested in and focus on a whole bunch of fairly insignificant or uninteresting events for everybody other than the people who are really, really close to the story. What do most agents do? They focus on the stuff that's only interesting to the people who are inside the business and really close to the story.
Them, their market share, what they do. So what you're saying is we should tell stories, which is a great way to get your message across, because we're human beings, the campfire bit, but tell it from the point of view that's of interest, that's intriguing and educational to the person reading it, which is your homeowner or landlord.
Absolutely. If you want to tell me about your business, tell me why it exists, tell me why you're passionate about it, tell me the epiphanies and breakthroughs you've had that mean you do things differently to other people. Like educate
But more
me on
importantly,
how
what it means. So I go on this portal, but what this means to you is
exactly. But also why I do it. So hey, look, we were marketing this way, blah 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 blah, and then we were working with this one client, and this thing happened, and it made us go, wow, hang on a minute, why don't we do that for everybody? Show us the journey rather than just going, hey, we do this for everybody. Because if you just go, we do this for everybody, well, maybe so does everybody else.
Or people assume they do. But are you telling people that you tell the story of, we had this epiphany, or we did this because of this, and we did this? Oh, it's like a classic story, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
The story, the intrigue, the battle on the inside.
So the way I
teach the win at the end.
The way I teach storytelling, I'll give you a really, really simple, short version of this. Okay, the best stories to me. I mean, a lot of people use story mountains and all this kind of stuff. The best stories to me basically have 4 seasons, which I think is really easy to get your head around because we all know the 4 seasons of the year, right? Stories normally start in autumn. It's beautiful. You've still got some light evenings. You've got gorgeous coloured, and I'm not saying literally autumn, but you've got this nice time where everything feels kind of good.
Yes.
But we all know winter is coming.
Yes.
When winter hits, that introduces a problem into your story.
So that's the dip.
Exactly, right? And that's the oh crap moment. They're like, what do I do next, right?
Yes.
From there, what happens? We get into spring. And what happens in spring? Well, we start to see blossom and new opportunity and new potential. It's just finding a way out of the problem.
Yes, you're not there. You're not in the summer.
We're not out of it yet, but
we're going in the right
on the way
direction.
out. And the other thing
But
to
there's challenges as well in spring.
well, I was going to say it pisses
Sorry,
down my rain.
am I
right?
jumping
allowed to
on
say
your...
that word?
Go on.
I said it pisses down my rain. Am I
Yeah,
allowed
of course
to
it
say
does.
that, right?
And you get the frosts.
Exactly right.
So we're going in roughly the right direction.
But there's still some challenges along the way.
Yes,
And we're showing
rocky roads.
showing some of that struggle. And eventually we get to summer where we've kind of solved the problem and it all looks good.
You're
Right?
so bang on.
And we just go back through that cycle. And if you look at your life or you look at your business, how many autumns have you got? How many winters have you got? How many springs? How many summers? There's probably an infinite number of them you can draw on. And you just go, okay, well, for the point I'm trying to make here, what's the right autumn? For the point I'm trying to make here, what's the right winter? For the point I'm trying to make here, what's the right spring? What's the right summer? And it's not necessarily from the same time frame. So it might be that actually your autumn is now, and it reminds you of something that happened 20 years ago, and that's your winter. Because again, you think you go watch a movie, you go watch a film. Is it in a linear sequence in terms of time? It's not, is it? Right? But so many people, when they're trying to tell a story, they think of it like once upon a time, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. That might be the case, but it might not be.
Could you almost take elements from different stories and make another story out?
100%. 100%. So for me...
So it doesn't have to be true, just truthful.
Yeah, well, no, they do have to be true. They do have to be true. I would never give a story that's not true or that's like massively embellished. But what I would also do is take the point of view of when they make a movie, they sometimes combine scenes. They simplify things. Because if you've got 5 minutes to tell a story, you can't give every single detail, but you've got to get the essence across. And a really good example of this, when I did a TEDx about 3 years ago now, I wanted to get across the excitement of being a newlywed like as quickly as possible. I only had 3 minutes to speak and had this like a lot of content I wanted to get in. And so I ended up basically saying about how I'd married the girl of my dreams, right? Marry the girl of your dreams, there's excitement, there's emotion, just in that simple little phrase. That was a little bit controversial because I had to speak to my wife and ask her if it was okay for me to say that, because the girl of my dreams I was talking about was actually my ex-wife. It was my first wife. But if I'd gone, I'd married my first wife, where's the excitement in that? Because you know how it ends, right? So you've got to think about the language you use in every situation to encapsulate the emotions you want people to feel. That means not that you're being dishonest or you're not telling the truth, but you maybe have to edit some of the details or leave a few things out, because if you try and explain the whole thing, you lose the impact. And I think that's, for me, I think that's the big bit. It's like, how do I simplify, condense, make it punchy and make it to the point. But I would advise anyone that's watching this, have an inventory of stories. Like when things are happening in your business that have changed the direction of the way you do things or have given you some new insight of challenges your customers are facing, document that stuff. Even if you don't share it, document it. Make notes, make videos, even if they're just for you, so that when you come to create content based on that, you can remember how you felt at the time, or you can remember what really happened at the time, so you get the details correct.
Thank you, Neil.
Welcome.